The pharmacy was unusually quiet that evening, except for the faint hum of fluorescent lights and the soft shuffle of papers behind the counter. Emily stood at the register, clutching a small white slip of paper in her trembling hand, the prescription for her 6-year-old daughter, Lily. She had already calculated the numbers in her head a dozen times. Rent was due in 3 days. Her utility bill sat unopened on the kitchen counter. And now, Lily's fever had returned, worse than ever. The doctor said the medicine was urgent. The cashier scanned the bottle and said softly, "That'll be $236.74. Emily's stomach dropped. She only had $100 in her checking account. Her eyes darted around the pharmacy as if the answer to her problems might be hiding on a shelf. She fumbled with her worn-out wallet, pulling out a few bills and some coins, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. I don't have enough," she whispered. "Can I just get half the medicine now, and maybe the rest later?" The pharmacist's kind but firm voice replied, "I'm sorry, ma'am. It doesn't work that way. The dosage needs to be exact." Behind her, the line grew restless. Someone sighed. Another cleared their throat. Emily felt tears sting her eyes as she clutched Lily's hand tighter. "Mommy, can we go home?" Lily's weak voice made her heart break even more. And that's when it happened. From directly behind her, a deep but gentle voice spoke quietly, so quietly Emily almost thought she'd imagined it. "Charge it to me." She turned around, startled. Standing there was a tall man in a dark tailored suit, his silver tie glinting under the fluorescent lights. His presence carried a quiet authority, yet his eyes were warm, almost fatherly. Emily blinked. I can't let you do that. It's too much." The man smiled softly. "No amount is too much when it comes to a child's health." Before she could protest again, he handed his card to the cashier. The pharmacist hesitated, but the man gave a small nod. "Please. Ring it up." Emily felt a lump rise in her throat. Strangers sometimes held doors open, maybe bought a cup of coffee for the person behind them. But this was different. This was life-saving. "Why would you do this for me?" Emily finally managed, her voice trembling. The man's expression softened, and for a moment, his gaze grew distant. "Because once, a stranger did the same for me. And it changed everything." The medicine was bagged and placed into Emily's hands. She hugged it to her chest as if it were pure gold. Lily smiled weakly at the man, whispering, "Thank you." He bent down to her level, his eyes kind. "Just promise me one thing, little one, when you're all better, you'll take care of your mom. Deal?" Lily giggled faintly and nodded. Emily stood frozen, overwhelmed. She wanted to ask his name, to know who this guardian angel was, but before she could, her phone buzzed. She glanced down to see a message from her landlord, reminding her about rent. Her heart sank again. When she looked back up, the man was already heading toward the exit. She hurried after him. "Wait, sir. Please, tell me your name. How can I repay you?" He paused at the door, the evening light casting a halo around him. "You don't owe me anything. Just, when you see someone else struggling, remember this moment. That's all the repayment I need." And with that, he walked out into the night. Emily stood there, speechless, clutching Lily's hand and the bag of medicine that meant hope, healing, and tomorrow. Weeks later, when Lily was fully recovered, Emily couldn't stop thinking about that man. Out of curiosity, she looked him up, because the pharmacist had whispered afterward, almost in disbelief, "Do you know who that was?" "That's Jonathan Hayes, the CEO of Hayes Pharmaceuticals." Emily was stunned. The very company that produced Lily's medicine, the man who could have remained distant, wealthy, and untouchable, had been the one to step forward. Not because of status. Not for recognition. but simply because he remembered what it felt like to need help. That night, Emily sat by Lily's bed, watching her daughter sleep peacefully for the first time in weeks. She whispered a quiet prayer of gratitude, not just for the medicine, but for the reminder that humanity still existed in its purest form. Kindness, she realized, wasn't measured in dollars or titles. It was measured in the courage to see someone else's pain and say, "I can help." And sometimes, the smallest whisper in a pharmacy line could echo for a lifetime.